So what I want to do now is make the North Pole birdhouse. All right, I got two pieces right here. This will be the roof. This will be the body. Another piece of maple dowel is 2 inches in diameter. And really handy for making birdhouses. And the square piece, this is a piece of carob. There we go. Got some really pretty grain in it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna, should I do that? I was thinking about putting milk paint on a roof for the North Pole this time. But I'll do this and I'll carve it, and then I'm gonna put some sparkle stuff on there just to make it look like snow. That'll be fun. So let me put this piece in the wood, piece of wood in the chuck here. We'll do some, you gotta drill it out and do some shaping on this too. But it's gonna look a little different than that last one. It's gonna be more of a rounded kind of shape and a little bit some beads on the bottom. There we go. So we need to true this piece up. So I'm just tapping it, getting it running as true as I can before I take the roughing gouge to it. Sometimes they don't seat perfectly and the chuck is trued up. That's why I like to use this small roughing gouge on pieces this size. It'll take away any chatter or wobble the piece might have. Adjust my tool rest up just a hair more. There we go. Well, I'm going to grab a drink real quick. And just do the cuts towards the tailstock end. I'm just truing this up so I can turn the speed up a little faster. Grab my tailstock with my parting tool. Tool's rolling around. Don't need that. We're just gonna start on the outside and cut our way into the middle. Put that little divot in there for the drill. And we'll get a somewhat large Forstner bit. Cut into here. Just gonna hold it up here just to give an idea. Yep, that's the size I need. This is a 1 inch, 1 1/4 inch. So I'm gonna drill the holes first for the opening and for the perch. This is gonna be the top. Find a spot there. A little bit more. I just go about halfway in. Yeah, usually when I'm doing production work on birdhouses, I'll do all the drilling and stuff first before I even do any shaping. I got my drill press that I'll set up. I can just fill the blanks really quick. One right after the other. I'll drill all the openings, then change the bit, and then I'll drill all the perch size, the perch size holes. Of course, you gotta do the drilling it's easier on the lathe to do the drilling for the inside of the piece, but for the perches and stuff, you could easily use a drill press. Turn down the lathe a little bit slower. This is kind of a large bit. And you get it about 500 RPMs. Yeah, I should mark that. I want to make sure I don't go any further deeper than I need to. Measure that. You go about 3.5 millimeters. Yep. There. No, there's already a mark on there, but that's not once. All right. So for this one, I'm not going to use a mandrel. I'm going to put my pin jaws up, my chuck with my pin jaws on there, and use that to hold the body. Just a different way of doing it. If the hole's big enough for your pin jaws to go into, then that's perfectly fine to do it that way. Back it out for a second. Feels like it's getting clogged up or something, always back it out. Nothing worse than having your drill bit get caught in there while you're not spinning on a lathe. Got the right size block here for the roof. I'm gonna take that down a little ways, but yep, that'll work. So I'm gonna make this one a little bit different as far as drilling out and things like that. I'm gonna put a tenon on the roof instead of drilling it out, and the tenon will fit right into there. So we're just going to do some general shaping real quick while it's still in this position. Might tailstock away a little bit, still has the drill bit in it. So I'm just going to start rounding it over a little bit. And I'm just going to create a cove right here. And that's pretty good. I don't want to go any thinner than that. This is just going to go right up in there. I can take that down just a little bit to get the thickness back. That's what I wanted for that roof. Just so the roof overhangs a little bit. It's good. It's not too thin. I'll show you guys that. There we go. You see, it's sort of thin, but not too much. It's perfect for just holding the roof on. Now I'm going to start working the other way just a little bit before I turn it around into the pin jaws. I want to check to see how thin I'm getting. Oh, that got right there in that groove, that entrance hole. I didn't notice that. No. It'll still work. All right, it's kind of thick still through here, so I can take some more of that down. I'm just getting the general shape that I want here. Probably flip it over. Okay. Still take a little bit more off. Okay, we'll do there. So I got that right in that curve, so I'm going to bring this curve up a little bit to get that. I'm just going to leave that little bit of a notch right there. So I really don't like having the opening right there in that cove. And there's plenty of thickness to work on here. Just take it easy on it. Make sure we don't go crazy. There we go. That's much better. All right, so grab me my other spindle gouge here and just work my way down. Right. Don't want to go any thinner. That's perfect. Now what I'm going to do is just going to take all this stuff off when I turn it around. I need to remove this and get the pin jaw chuck out. There we go. So this should just slide right on here, just nice and gentle. You don't want to go crazy on the pressure. Just snug it up. You don't want to crack it. You can pretty much tell by the feel of it. I'm going to bring up the tailstock. Bring that up, turn on the lathe. Go. You want to just remove all that round part there. So I need to lower my tool rest because of the distance. Go. And this is what having a large spindle gouge really comes in handy. You can overhang it a little further. So I'm going to mark where those holes are with a pencil. So I don't want to get up in that area and cut it again. So I'm just going to kind of round it all, almost flatten this area right here. All this is going to disappear as I make some beads right here. Right there, 2 beads. So what I need to do is just take this down a bit. And I start to cut at 45 and then I turn it over to where the flute's almost closed. And I cut towards the bottom, not so much where it's going to release that tail center quite yet. I just want to touch this up. There's a little high spot right here that caught my eye. So now I'm going to grab me my small detail gouge. It's a little 1/8"
overhead
detail gouge. Oh, camera. There we go. 1/2" detail gouge or 1/8" detail gouge for the beads. So I'm just going to do a turn, get the rubber, have the foot straight up, get the bevel rubbing. Once it starts cutting, I raise the handle and give it a twist. Like that. And then I do the opposite direction here on right here. And back to this again. I'm going to adjust my angle here. Going to vibrate just a little bit because of the overhang. There we go. Nice little beads there. Clean that area up, round it over a little bit. That's good. Now I'm going to grab me a wire burner here if I can figure out where I threw them. All right, here's a thin one. I'm just going to put this down in those grooves here, move the tool rest away so that this won't get tangled in it. And this will just burn some lines in there for detail. There we go. Back in with this large spindle gouge. I'm just going to pare this down. So it just cuts away here. There we go. Get that little bit off. Get that a little more round. Get rid of that little nib that shows up on the bottom sometimes. Make sure we don't have any tool marks. Make it sanding a bit easier. I'm just kind of shear cutting it right there. All right. Okay, still a little bit of a nub in there. Those are really hard to sand out. I hate those because they're right in the center of the wood and it's the slowest moving part of the wood. They're a pain in the butt to sand out. There we go. I think I got it. There. All right. And back it out. That should be nice. These maple dowels, they sand up really easy and nice. And they take a spray finish really well. Now make sure you turn the right way when you're taking this off. You'll know immediately if you crank it too hard the wrong way because you'll crack this baby in half. So there we go, kind of thin, hollowed. Got the opening and an opening for a perch. So I'm just going to turn the first half of this round like I did before. And then I'm going to put a tenon on the bottom that's going to fit in the opening of that body of the birdhouse we just made. There we go. Back off my tailstock a little ways. I'll be using my larger roughing gouge here. Give that a spin, make sure there's nothing sitting it. You guys can see me turn it on a different angle here. Okay, we get almost round. I want to check the body of this. I want to go. We still got room for the overhang, just a little bit. You gotta be careful not to go overboard with getting this thing around because you can inadvertently, when you get carried away, turning and go too small for the body you made. There we go. That's good. And it's round all the way from there to there. That's what I wanted. All right. So now that I got a depth set up, I can just match that. So this roof is going to have a cone shape to it, but not quite like the other one we did. This is going to be a rounded shape, not a like a cove going up in there. So now I need to just true up the face here. And we don't need to drill this out. What I need to do is measure with the veneer calipers the inside of that body. That's set already from the last birdhouse we made. So, parting tool time. Just get an idea of how deep I need to go with that. I'm just going to use the body as a measuring tool here. I'm going to turn off the lathe and just check it as I go. Okay, not much more. Great when you can just use the piece you're going to glue it to as a measuring tool. That way you know for sure that you've got the right size. There we go. No flop, no mess. It spins nice. There's no wobble to it. So now what I need to do is essentially create a cove down into that area. Use my large spindle gouge here. I need to adjust the tool rest down and angle it a little different. Still a little too high. There we go. That should be it. Yep. Grab that body again. Of course, put it over there. Okay. There we go. This fits pretty good. Like that. It's a pretty good fit. Overhangs nice. Goes deep enough. Maybe I'll go a little more. In fact, go a little bit deeper with this. Gotta get that angle on my tool right. Oh, I got the flute open too much. Because I'm going so deep at this point, wanting to jump back at me. Oh, that's better. Yep. So now we'll just get some general shaping of this going. Then we'll add some carved lines into it on the lathe for shingles that we're going to add to it using the Dremel on a flex shaft. Well, I think this tool is getting a little too dull for me to use. That's how it's acting. I'm going to grab me another spindle gouge here. There we go. That's better. So we just want to take one good cut all the way to the bottom. Oh, popped out of that one. There's a low spot right there. I want to get those out of there. Some of those lines are the grain of the wood. So I'm just going to chamfer the bottom of the roof a little bit with the wing. Oh, that's pretty wood. All right, I'm glad I chose this one, huh? All right, so I'm gonna grab me my parting tool. I'm gonna part this off. Hopefully that'll hold. Should. Done it before. Parting tool. And I just need to take it down a little bit more here so the wood's out of my way. All right, got that. Gouge. Trying to get all the shaking done that I can while it's in this position in the chuck. All right, I'm just gonna sand it with 320 sandpaper. I mean, a piece here. And you lay it down. Don't want to burn the wood. Got a line, a couple lines right there. I might have to take the tool too again. Just have a look. Yeah, there's a deep line right there I need to work on. Just ease the tool in and kind of just gently cut that out of there. And there's a little bit of a spot here too. The bevel is really polishing up this wood nice. See where the bevel polished it. There we go, that line's gone. The rest of it, those lines that you're seeing, it's the grain in the wood spinning around. There's still a line in there. So I'm gonna polish that out. Because I don't feel it with my finger. So this might need a little polishing.
It's really out of focus.
Is it going out of focus again? Now let me play with it for a second.
It's back in.
Yeah, let me do something real quick. Adjust something in the menu. All right, where are you in here? All right. I'm gonna adjust the. Where are you? Focus assistant off. Off. There. Hopefully that'll do it. I turned off the focus assist. And hopefully, it won't bring that up just a little bit. There we go. Hopefully it won't do that anymore. So I'm gonna grab me a Scotch pad. I had a whole bunch of just a little while ago. There we are. Just trying to polish some of these lines out of here. This carob takes really well to polishing. In fact, we don't have to put a finish on it. Hopefully that line is, yeah. Try to cut it out, but it won't go out. So I'm not going to fight with it anymore. I'm just going to part this off and turn it around in the pin jaws again and finish the top. So I'm just going to part it off right here, and I'm going to turn around in my pin jaws again and adjust that size here. Adjust the top and finish it off. All right. It's almost ready to come off, so I can twist it, just like that. So I'm just going to grab the tenon with my pin jaws here. We'll finish up the top. No mandrels needed for this one. Slip in there. There we go. You can snug it up as tight as you want because nobody's going to see those marks once you glue it into the body of the birdhouse. There we go. So there's going to be a couple of things we need to do. I did polish it up, but I do need to make some cuts in it. I'm in this position here. It helps with the making of the shingles with the Dremel tool. So I just want to round this over. We still got 10 people with me. That's great. There's still a little bit of a bump right here, so I'm just going to clean that off. All right, so now I'm going to make part of the shingles in this position right here. Using my large detail gouge here, I'm just going to come up and create a groove. And another groove here. Oh, afraid that was going to happen. Put a little too much pressure on it. Slide it right back into the chuck. Clean that up. Tore it up a little bit coming out of the wave there. Give it a good crank that time. Use a smaller spindle gouge. Not quite as big of a bite. And there's probably a little bit tear out coming out of those. What I need to do is just grab my little detail gouge and go back in the opposite direction. And it'll clean those little flaky areas up right up. And we'll see if we got rid of most of that tear out. There we go. Pretty clean up. That's all right. We're going to carve it so it can't have just a little nicks here. It's going to add character to the shingles we're about to make. So this is going to be a fun thing to do. There's kind of a line right there I want to get rid of. Just noticed it right in the middle right here. So I just need to come in, clean that up. Nice and gentle though. I think I was hitting this side there. Looks okay though. All right. Time to take this out of the chuck. You guys want to take a 5-minute break while I get my workbench all secured over here? So let's get started on creating the roof on there. So I need to hit the overhead camera over my workbench. There we go. You guys can see everything, what's going on. Oh. And what I have here is got my Dremel set up. 2 different things. You can do it either way. I've got one that's a flex cut chisel flex shaft, and then I got a rotating flex shaft on this one with a very small carving bit. And it'll allow you just to draw those shingles down in there. Or you could use the V cut. I'll show you guys both of those on this since this is just a sample piece. And I might finish it up later. It is a nice piece of wood, but right now it's just a demo piece. So let me crank up my Dremel. I'll use the carving bit first. There we go. Hopefully that's not too loud on my mic. This is a really small carbide bit. I've got it just about 3/4 speed of what the RPMs of the Dremel is. And you just hold it here, you can just draw the lines, just like. And this wood isn't acting as well as I thought it would with this. I think the carving part is going to be better using the flex shaft. Yeah, this is being a little rough on this. I usually do this on maple, not carob, so I'm going to switch over to my V cut tool, and I think it's going to do much better than this one. So let me grab that one over here, and you'll see what I'm talking about when I get it over here. And let me turn this one on. Oh. There we go. I really like using this one because it's completely safe until it touches the wood, and then it just starts carving it down. And this is a V cut, so you can take it and just sort of like a vibrating tool. And it's being not liking this wood much either. See if I'll go the other way with it. This wood is not being very friendly with this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab a softer piece of wood. It's not shaped as a roof, but I'll be able to show you guys what I'm trying to do here. So this is a piece of that maple dowel. And what I want to do is just see how much easier this cuts right there. Let's take that off. Yep. Went a little bit too deep with that one. There we go. Yeah, this is make shingles along here. And then you could also take it along the bottom here. How about we change Dremels? And we'll start the other one up. Well, this should cut really well with this one. So it's almost like drawing with a pencil. Just trying to follow the grain of the wood. I'm going to turn it over and see if I get a better result. There we go. Then we just want to take the bottom down. So this is the part that I did on the lathe, basically. Let's see if I can get it to do a little bit more on here. That's a little better. I'm going to turn up the Dremel a little bit higher. See if that helps. Seemed to be. No. Give me 1 second here. Feels like the bit came a little bit loose. Yep. There we go. Yeah, the grain is kind of hard and soft in some spots. We can see how the idea of making the shingles coming about. And then you would just kind of stagger them. You come down to this one here. So this is just one way of making the shingles. I'll show you another here. It's also fun to do. You can see how they're just kind of showing up there. It'll take a little while just to, you know, get the shape right. Just kind of round them over, round over the top a little bit. A little bit of shaping there. But my favorite way to do it, using my pyrography pen. So let me turn this on and get it good and hot. It'll take a second for it to get toasty here. I'll just, yep, there it goes, already hot. And you can just draw some lines, or you can just do it right where you did the carving. Just kind of highlight that a little bit in there. Like that. Or you can actually draw the shingles in here. You just burn them in. See, find a plain spot here so you can see it better. And you just take it and you just and you can just stagger them like this. And you come back and you just put like little lines in it. Wood grain. Just kind of seal that up there. And you can come in and kind of burn that inside there, underneath. Go, still good and hot. You just gotta let it catch up with the heat. Put little lines in there. Gives it a little bit of a wood grain look. We'll come down here and we'll make a shingle there, shingle here, shingle here. Let me just tap it in there to add some little detail. And then after this, what you can do is you can get a shadowing tip, which I have right here. So I'm going to put that on here in a second. And that really sets this off. You add the shadows to it. Gives it more of a 3D look. There we go. Now let me unplug this one, put it somewhere where it'll cool off nice. I'll plug in my shadow tip, which looks like this. It's just a flat tip on there that heats up. Doesn't get really red hot or anything. It can if you got a really, really strong wood burner. But you don't want that you don't want a really high heat for shadowing anyway. So it's just gonna take it a minute to heat up, I think. It's just now coming up. Give it a second more. Because it's flat, it takes longer for it to clear off. So I'm using a copper brush to get any residue off of it, because that can insulate the heat from the piece you're working one. Make it nice and shiny. And it should be working really well now. Yeah, there we go. You just want to come in here, just in between along the lines here, add a little bit of a shadow, some gentle, add some shadow underneath here. Gotta move it quick or it'll leave a kind of a burn mark there. You get that point of it down in there. Just gonna kind of glance it off. A little bit there. You see how the shading really makes it pop a little bit more. Got a little shading on the not too hot there. I need to turn down the temperature a little bit on the machine. Getting a little toasty. Better to work up a shadow than to try to do it all at once. If you don't want it super hot, so you got a good idea of how I would put shingles on a piece here. And to make it like it's in the North Pole, I'm going to add some sparkle to this. I'm going to dry brush some white onto it and then add some sparkle. There we go. So we're just working that particular area there. You can use the brush just to get any residue off that the burning might have left on the wood. So I'm just going to use a little bit of this white wax. I'm just going to dry brush it on. Just kind of a stiff brush. Don't want to put a whole bunch on. Just start out with a little bit and see how it goes. That's a little bit too much, so you just scrape it off the side there. You can just kind of lighten it up a little bit. The wax getting inside those burn marks. Then you can just put a little more wax kind of on the eaves or on the bottom of each shingle. You could do this with paint also. A little bit of craft paint. So I'll do that on the bottom here. We'll see how that goes. So let me get a little cup here and get some of my white craft paint, just acrylic paint. We'll dry brush some of this on there and we'll see the difference, the wax or the paint. See which one we like better. Squeeze a little bit on the bottom of the cup here. Get a clean brush. We'll just dab a little bit on there and then scrape a lot of it off. So we are dry brushing. You just kind of just take it across like that. Kind of like the paint better, actually, than the wax. That looks much better. And I would usually let this dry. It's gonna dry real quick anyway, but see if I can go over that wax and make it a little bit better looking. Scrape a bunch of that off. Ooh, too much paint there. I can dry brush it around. Yep, too much paint. Well, you can always come back with a clean brush and see if you can get most of that off. It doesn't dry too quick. And the details are starting to show a little bit. And so for sparkles, what I have is I got this from, wow, Nick Ager, or I think he sells it. It's called Easy Inlay. This is a mother of pearl. It's a natural, from a natural shell, but it's chopped up really, really fine. And what I'm gonna do is just get a tiny little bit of glue. This is clear glue. I'll show you what kind I'm using here. Called Aleene's Clear Gel Tacky Glue. And I just want to put a really, really thin layer of it over the paint. So I need to get a brush. And I'm just gonna use this little brush here. Doesn't need to be too much. Pop that little dry pot off of there, and just squeeze a little bit on the tip of the brush here to get it flowing. There we go. And I like to stick it in the holes like that. It keeps the glue from going back to the bottom of the bottle. And just spread it around. It dries perfectly clear, no brown or anything. And before that dries, you want to get the Easy Inlay and sprinkle it on there. And you don't really want to waste any of it, so you want to get that cup here. Ooh, dust in this one. There we go. So you want to hold it over a cup like this because it's not going to all stick. You just lightly sprinkle it on. Just like that. And just tap it with your fingers a little bit. Get it into the glue a little bit more. And give it a shake. And now you got sparkly roof. Looks like it's been in the North Pole for a while. Just like that. Now, if you think there's too much sparkle on there, you can come back with a dry brush. There's an acid brush here. Before it all dries to it, you can just, you do want to do this, you want to get all the loose pieces off of it. You don't want to spray a finish over it though. So now you just got a little bit of sparkle. That's what I was after. And you can still see the details of the shingles in there. I think the wood burner did the better job on this piece of wood. This is a really strange wood. It's soft but hard when you're turning it. Makes no sense to me. That's how you get a sparkly roof for the North Pole. You guys have a good night, and I'll see you next time.